fascinating material, America. It is fascinating to be here on a Man Up Monday. It is fascinating that the Redoubtable One is back in the hizzy. It is fascinating that it's not freezing right now.
Yeah.
And it's also fascinating that the Wood Lake Warriors 10 under basketball team remains the most clueless group of kids I've ever coached in my entire life. And that's 28 years of basketball talking. We had 2-hour practice tonight, first one we've had all season, and we had 7 things on the docket. We got through 3 with a 2-hour practice because
Yowzes.
Kids are farting at the foul line. Let's run 2 suicides to see if they think that's funny. I was the coach's son doing it. Lawton, talk to bro.
I mean, you can't hold back flatulence.
Yes, you can in the middle of a drill, especially with a bunch of 10-year-old goofballs, and everything gets all fucked up. Yeah, if there was a time to pinch one off, that would be it right there. But the coach's son
dangerous game you're playing. You pinch off farts.
It's a dangerous game with the guy who's in charge Thursday night, and I play who I want because it's the playoffs.
Is it Thursday we play?
Thursday night, 6:15.
Okay, who we play?
It's at Tomahawk Creek Middle School. We're playing a team from the O100 League. They have the same record we do, so they are beatable, but the rule is there's the no-sit rule. You can play whoever you want to play.
Yeah.
So if I want to play 5 guys the whole game, I'll play 5 guys. If I want to pull a Tom Thibodeau, I can. So I hope
that doesn't always work.
I hope that
saying.
I won't play 5.
Old Tibby.
I won't play 5, but I don't have to play 11.
Yeah.
I don't got to play 9. So we'll see what happens. As I told the kids, because we didn't know what the schedule was, I told them tonight at the end of practice, as Lawton and I almost threw him out of the gym. We were so mad at him. I said, Wednesday night, I'm going to have receipts. So we'll see who pays attention Wednesday night, because that could very much determine who plays on Thursday night. So they're going to get one more chance. To your son's credit, he was the one I didn't have to talk to tonight, so it's feather in his cap. We'll see what this team looks like. Anyway, welcome to IDD. For those who don't disagree, here's a Man Up Monday, segment 1, all things NBA. Celtics bent the Knicks over on Sunday. Of course, the Celtics did what the Celtics do after being up 27 points. Oh, the Knicks are going to quit. No, they're not. And that's Tom Thibodeau. Sam Cassell was on that team in 08. He knows they're not going to quit. I have no doubt that Sam Cassell told the Celtics that. I also have no doubt the Celtics didn't listen. Because then it was 4. 27-4? 27-4, and you're going to tell me that was all Brunson and... Or it was a combination of things.
All y'all have to do is run a pick and roll. It's a shame.
All you have to do is not shoot a team back into the game.
Yeah.
Because when you're up, here's the thing, and we've talked about this. When you're up 27 points, do you need to shoot threes anymore?
No.
No, you need to drive the dagger home. The dagger. The dagger. Yeah, and that means go to the fucking basket, because they can't stop you when you do, and live at the foul line. No, Tom. Let's miss 13 out of 15 threes. Let's forget who Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns are, if they even exist for that matter. And the next thing you know, a 27-point lead in less than a quarter goes to 4.
They did the same thing in the Garden. We got it to 5.
Yeah.
But then you guys go, oh, that's right. They can't guard us in the pick and roll, so we'll do this.
Well, yeah. And as I was trying to tell my dumbass brother Pete, who was calling me to brag about this win on Sunday, I'm like, explain to me this, genius. How'd it go from 27 to 4? And the Celtics have 10 losses at home. If there was ever a time for that not to happen, would that not have been it? And yet, it happened anyway. So while I don't consider the Knicks a threat as long as they're only going to play 6 people, if they pull that shit with Cleveland or OKC, they're going home. Because they're not going to have Game 7.
The Celtics.
Yeah, because they're not going to have Game 7 in the Boston Garden, because they've pissed away 6 home games this year to inferior opponents. Yeah. So yes, it could cost them a championship, because I promise you this, you won't get up 27 points on either of the 2 teams I just mentioned. And if you do that, they're not inferior opponents. They have as much talent as you do. If you fuck around like that, they'll beat you.
Yeah. Yeah, and after the trade deadline, Cleveland's even better now.
Yeah, that kid. We're going to find out next Friday night.
The fact that they got DeAndre Hunter, and then they went and got, is it Javonte Green from...
Hunter's the one that I'm really concerned.
I know, but then they just picked Green up off the scrap heap from New Orleans. It's like they loaded the fuck up.
Yep. They're still not as talented, but they're very close.
And they're deep as fuck.
As are we. But again, this is about the style of play. If Boston plays to their strength, I don't care who Cleveland has, they can't beat them. But as we have learned, as they have still not learned,
only has to beat them twice.
Yeah, they have to beat them twice, because they'll give away 2 games.
Dude, Cleveland beat us by 37 on Friday. It was a bad weekend for the Knicks.
They are now 0-7 against the elite.
Yeah. Which, I mean, isn't really a surprise. I told you I didn't think they were title contenders.
We thought they were the second best team in the East when the season started. We didn't know.
Right, no, but 3 weeks ago we talked if they were title contenders. I said no.
Okay.
Then they did nothing at the trade deadline.
Which I don't understand.
Well, they're kind of, because of the way they built the team, they're kind of hamstrung. They can't add a lot. They gave away 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges, who on some nights is a difference maker, and other nights he just
That came up today.
disappears.
That trade.
That's been coming up all year with Knicks fans on Twitter, and it's rough because you thought, okay, you bring him in as a wing defender, you have OG as a wing defender. OG's been hurt now, and because they have no depth, if anybody goes down, it's major. You know, Josh Hart had just come back off a knee injury that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
OG just came back off a foot.
Yeah.
And, you know, we get Mitchell Robinson back. The only problem is our defense is really struggling because of Brunson and Cat. And they're our 2 best offensive players.
That's a conundrum.
So, yeah, I mean, you can't. But against the Bulls a week ago, in the last play of the game, Thibodeau pulled Brunson and Cat. Tie ball game in regulation. And Mikal Bridges blocked their center to save the game and go into overtime. But when you've got to pull
Your
your 2 best players offensively off the
their
floor,
liabilities on defense.
because they're like that's hard to deal with.
That's very hard to deal with.
And I think I read something about the Celtics got 75 points on open shots yesterday.
Yep.
Because you do the pick and roll and it's one pass and wide open.
It's either a lob or it's a kick.
Yeah, I mean,
the
it's-
Knicks don't rotate
yeah,
for shit.
no.
And now that I've had a chance to watch this for an entire game, he's 100%
It's
right.
bad.
They don't rotate.
No.
at all. They don't trap the screen up top. Which
No,
is the only way.
both guys drop
Both
under the
guys
screen.
drop under it with a 3-point shooting team on the road is a no-no.
No. Terrible.
You might do that at home because they might be called. You don't do that when you're in their gym.
And in this league, period, you can't do that. As many 3-point shooters there are.
I mean, Tatum and Brown at the top of the key, or Derek White,
Yeah.
or Peyton Pritchard, or you can't Hauser. You can't do that.
Dude, even Porzingis.
Yeah, well,
They were-
Porzingis, I think, is as good a shooting big man as Towns is.
Yeah, I mean,
he
they're
doesn't
dropping
shoot as
under.
many, but
Right,
he's
he doesn't
every
shoot as
bit as
many.
good as Towns is.
They didn't shoot as many because of how many you'll shoot.
Yeah, well, he's also got Tatum and Brown.
Yeah.
And White and Holiday.
And
Like,
Holiday.
they've got 5 guys that can shoot the 3.
Yeah.
The Knicks don't
No.
have 5 guys that can shoot the 3. So
And that's the other
That's
tough
the other
part
problem.
on offense is when they blitz Brunson or Cat, and they come and where they double, and the person they're doubling off of is Josh Hart.
Yep, who can't. And then that's why they're doing
He's
it.
scared to shoot
because he can't shoot.
Yeah,
he won't
and
shoot.
So it's a major conundrum. I mean,
look, they're hard to find. It's easier said than done, and this is where I don't blame the Knicks because there's not a lot of guys out there who are 6'8", 6'7", 6'9", that are wing defenders that can shoot the 3 if you leave them open.
yeah,
However, Cleveland found the one that was out there from Atlanta.
and they had trade pieces
And
to get
trade
him.
pieces to get him. And Atlanta, being the dumbasses that they are, did it,
Yeah.
which basically sabotaged their season. So
He must have
it's like-
wanted out. I don't know.
I don't know, but
they
him and Trae Young together could have been a team you didn't want to see in the first round because they're dangerous. But now they're not. So it's like, well, but Cleveland got better. We'll find out. They're going to be in Boston next weekend.
That's
this
good.
weekend with this kid, and we'll see what the Celtics are because now they're going to get this team with him, and he's going to have had 5 or 6 games under his belt, 7 or 8 games under his belt actually. So we'll see how much of a difference it makes.
Nice little measuring.
Well,
stick.
Boston's taken 2 out of 3 from him already, but now you've got to deal with this kid. Boston has the personnel to deal with him. That's not my point. My point is that because he's not better than Jason Tatum. If he was, people would have heard of him.
Who?
Hunter.
Oh, of course not.
Of course not, but he's 6'8", where
The
Tatum.
only person
Yeah.
near Tatum and Brown on that team is Mitchell.
Who's 6'4".
Right. So he's not as good as them.
And
But he's a monster.
he is a
at
monster.
6'4".
But again, this is where in the playoffs, I'm quite certain that at some point Jaylen Brown and him will get reintroduced.
Well, yeah.
And it will be a different story because
Right.
I think Missoula has purposely kept Brown off him in the regular seasen because White and Holiday will give him enough of a tussle. But now, if you can throw Jaylen Brown up too, which of course you can, you can wear him down much the way they wore down Luka.
Right.
Kyrie Irving. I mean, Boston has the personnel to do this. Most teams don't. So we'll see what happens next weekend with that. That's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to that. Of course, the Lakers are like the Cowboys. You just have to talk about them if you're ESPN. It makes me sick. They go into Denver. They bend Denver over the night and again, they beat them. But to his point, Denver's not the Denver we knew from 2 years ago.
Denver's on the Knicks level.
Yeah.
You've got Boston, OKC, and Cleveland.
Oh, the upper echelon.
And then there's like 4 or 5 teams like Knicks, Grizzlies, Nuggets.
The Grizzlies, Nuggets, Houston you can throw in there.
Houston. They can fight.
Maybe
Indiana.
Maybe
if
Indiana.
They're all healthy.
If they're healthy, maybe. So they're that second tier.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's going to be very interesting to see what these first round matchups look like. Again, Boston to me has put themselves in and you have no margin for error because I don't think they're catching Cleveland for the best record in the East or Oklahoma City. So what my stupid brother doesn't get is going through one of them is one thing. Having to go through 2 of them is quite another.
Yeah.
And Boston had the benefit last year, and I will say it again because they've put themselves in a position where I can say it. They didn't have to go through everybody that was healthy until they got to the finals, and that was the perfect matchup for them.
I kind of want to look at this. I want to look at the standings. Keep going.
It was the perfect matchup. That was. I laugh at Tim Legler and everybody else who knows so much basketball.
That was crazy.
Who thought that was going to be a series if Kristaps Porzingis could breathe, because all he had to do was play 2 games. It was over in 5.
Yeah.
They won 3 games or 2.5 games without him, and those games really weren't close. So. Again, Boston has the flexibility in their roster where they can pretty much match up with anybody. Everybody's trying to match up with them. Hence the move that Cleveland made. And it was a smart move. I was Cleveland, I would have done the same damn thing. Yeah. I don't blame them. But it's made them more formidable, at least on paper. And Boston is going to get a look at them, and they better take them seriously.
The best move they made, Cleveland, was Kenny Atkinson. That's the biggest difference in this.
The coach.
They're fucking tough now.
Coaching matters.
Yeah, they're. They had this talent, and now it's playing different.
If you doubt this, look at the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, that's
look at where they were a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
and a year and a half ago they were right there with the Wizards.
And they've gotten rid of talent since then.
They have, but Ime Udoka is a coach, and he knows that chemistry. This is Herb Brooks all over again.
Yeah,
I'm not looking for the best players. I'm looking for the right ones.
I'm looking for the right ones.
And that is the Houston Rockets to a fucking T.
John wants me to give the speech to the kids before the playoffs.
Well, you're my assistant coach because
really?
He's going to be here, so you are going to be. Where is he? He's going to Alabama. He doesn't get back till Thursday night after the game.
Oh wow!
So it's me and you, kid. You're looking at the brain trust.
Great moments.
Great moments
are born from great opportunities, and that's what we have here tonight, boys. 1 game. Play them 10 times, they might beat us 9.
No, that's not how you say it. We're dealing with us. They say, if we play them 10 times, we might beat ourselves 9. But not this game.
Not this game. Not tonight. I'm tired of hearing about how good the Soviets are.
Actually, I'm tired of hearing about what a mediocre team this opponent is, and yet we can't beat them. Screw up.
I'm tired of hearing about how you can't shoot.
We're less mediocre than they are. Now go out there and show them what it means to be just a notch above mediocrity.
Okay, that's cool. That'll be fun.
So I think you should.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. Because honestly, if they're 5-5, they're very beatable. But we should be 8-2 right now.
Yeah,
we're not because we've beaten ourselves more than anything else.
Well, I'm saying we should be 8-2.
We should. If you saw what happened Saturday, yeah, you'd agree with me.
Oh, dude,
you saw it. You saw it once. Yeah,
yeah, I've seen
it more than once. So yeah.
All right.
Anyway, back to the NBA.
Yeah, let's look at
the standings.
Yeah, let's look at
just some matchups.
Yeah, some hypotheticals.
Little hypotheticals.
So. Here's what I'm noticing about Boston's matchups throughout the playoffs. I think it's good for them because they're going to have to stay focused.
They're going to have to.
Because right now, they've got Orlando. And if Orlando can somehow get healthy and get, is Suggs playing anymore? Because
I don't know if he's back yet.
He had hurt his back.
Yeah,
and Banchero was hurt,
Banchero's
early in the year. But if they can get help, the Celtics can't take them lightly.
Nope.
They'll beat them regardless. But you don't want to go 6-7 games with them for no reason.
Which could totally happen.
Well, it's 5-game series, right? First round?
3 out of... Is it 3 out of 5 in the first round?
Or did they change them all to 7?
I think they're all 7. Yeah, because they won 4-1. No. Yeah, 4-1. 4...
That's right. It's all 7 now.
Yeah, 4-1, 4s. They swept... Yeah, 4-1, 4-1, 4-0, 4-1 is what they did last year. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's all 7.
So it's 7. So you don't want to fuck around with Orlando and play more games than you have
Nope.
to. Then Knicks will have Detroit. Detroit's no slouch.
They've won 6 in a row.
Yeah,
by the
so-
way. Lawton. Kate Cunningham is the real deal.
Yeah.
They're good. I watched the game. They're looking really good.
Yeah.
They are. Not for nothing.
Did they get Cleveland's coach?
I think so. The guy you don't
Bickerstaff?
like.
Yeah.
Well, he's done a hell of a job.
Yeah, yes.
He's
I'll give him credit.
I didn't think they were going to win 31 games all year.
Yeah.
They're 31 and 26 right now. He's done a hell of a job there.
So I think 32 and 26.
32 and 26. You got to give him credit.
So if the Knicks beat them, do they play the Celtics then?
It'd be Knicks Celtics second round.
So 2-3 seed
2-3
play.
seed,
Okay.
yeah.
So they're not going to fall asleep on the Knicks because for some reason they just go, fuck the Knicks. So they'll beat them, and then that would be the conference championship where they'd... Because Cleveland right now would get Miami, Atlanta, or Chicago. Obviously going to beat the shit out of any of those teams.
All 3 of them is a sweep.
Right.
It's a sweep.
Then
It's a sweep.
they'd get the winner of Milwaukee, Indiana.
Probably also a sweep.
Yeah, they'll just slap
Sweep.
them around.
They won't see a team until Boston.
Yeah.
Boston will see some teams before them. And this is what
Yeah.
my stupid brother doesn't get. You have a team that is injury prone, i.e. Porzingis. This is not the road you want to try to take to repeat. But these donkeys, I'm sick and tired of hearing they're bored. The Celtics haven't repeated. Think about the history of the Boston Celtics. They haven't repeated since 1969, some guy named Russell,
Wow.
who was player coach.
Bird never repeated?
No, he won 3 in 5 years.
Oh, okay.
He went to the finals 5 times. And
So he
won 3.
won, lost, won.
No, he lost. He won,
Lost.
lost, won, lost, won.
Okay.
And then he lost in the finals in '87 on that magic hook that they never.
Damn.
When Walton was out.
That was after he'd won his third?
After he won his third. That next year he carried them to the finals. McHale had a broken foot. Parrish had a sprained ankle. Walton was out. Len Bias died. Bird. That was the steal against the Pistons. Bird against Dennis Rodman.
Oh, there's a steal by Bird?
Yeah, that was the series that got them there. Bird and that might have been Bird's greatest series ever against that Pistons team. That one that won 2 of the next 3 titles. He averaged like 32, 9, and 8 against that Pistons defense.
That's like...
McHale is on one leg. Parrish is on one. There's no Walton. Bird literally by himself beat that Pistons team. That's how great Larry Bird was. And Isaiah Thomas, I'll show you the quote that he just said earlier about Larry Bird and where he would be today. You'd be like, you guys have seen Nikola Djokovic? He's like, yeah, take him out, put Bird in. But Bird's better. He goes, you can't tell me Bird wouldn't dominate today when you look at
who?
Isaiah Thomas said this about Bird recently. So I have it on the clip. He goes, yeah, I look at you. He mentions the Joker. He goes, I look at him, and he's a slower version of Larry Bird.
He's a little bigger, though, right?
But he's a lot slower. He doesn't shoot as well.
Yeah.
Remember, Bird invented the 50-40-90 club in the era where they played defense.
Well, Jokic is like a center.
Bird is a 6'10".
But he's not
small forward.
center.
He could play center. At 6'10", he could play center in this league. Right now, he could play center.
How much did Bird weigh?
He was 220, 230, I think. I think he was 230, 6'10", 230. So, but he was mobile, and he could literally, depending on who was guarding him, he would spend one game on the post or one game on the wing.
Yeah.
And it would switch night to night. And that's why Michael Jordan says this day, I don't know if he was a power forward or small forward. I couldn't tell. Because if Scottie Pippen guarded Larry Bird would take him down the block and abuse him. And Scottie could do nothing about it. And if they put, if we try to put, he said Horace Grant on him, Bird would take him outside and destroy
Just
him.
go by him.
Destroy him.
Yeah.
He's like, so we couldn't match up with him. So, and that, Jokic doesn't have the ability to take people off the dribble like Bird could. Jokic can post you up, but he can't take you off the dribble.
Yeah.
No. So anyway, the point is this: the matchups here favor Cleveland in the current scenario.
Yeah.
Now, if Boston is on their game, could they sweep the first 2 opponents? Yeah, the way the Knicks are playing, they could sweep them.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd be interested to see what the Knicks look like with Mitchell Robinson, but I don't see it solving the problems that they have with Boston.
They have a matchup problem.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about, I understand that they're hamstrung money-wise, but that does not mean, because the Celtics found this 6'7" shooter named Craig who can shoot the three. They found him off the street. This kid's actually pretty good. He plays D.
Yeah. Well, but
there are guys out there that are around that range. You can find they're out there.
But the Knicks are more hamstrung because they're not at the second apron yet. They're not allowed to sign a guy like that until after March 1st. There's some stupid money rules. So the Celtics are over the second apron, so they could just fucking do it.
Well, it's short money. They didn't sign a guy to a big deal. This was a street. This was a guy.
No, I know. But the Knicks couldn't sign somebody who was previously making a certain. It's a stupid the NBA cap is
weird.
It's fucking
weird. It's hard to figure.
It makes no sense.
No, it does not.
And there's some kind of rule that's keeping.
Well, there's a luxury tax where once you can go. Here's the funny thing about this: you can go over the cap, but you get to a certain point over the cap, and the luxury tax kicks in. However, you can still keep going.
Right.
You just pay the luxury tax now.
But there's levels to the
there's like a soft
apron,
cap,
a second apron.
Yeah, it's.
We're just below the second apron. You guys are well over it.
Yeah, we are because of Tatum and Brown.
Yeah. And
Porzingis, actually.
Yeah,
actually, Porzingis' deal is good. It's short money. It's 2 more years after this. So
but it's still pretty.
It's hefty.
Yeah.
But he's an all-star player, so I'm not worried about that. He's 29. I have no problem with that. He's 29. So, but anyway, look, the Knicks have a problem.
At the West?
Absolutely. But the Knicks, hold on. The Knicks have a problem that if it's March 1st, then fine. Come March 1st, the Knicks got to find a guy who is between 6'7" and 6'9", who plays defense and can shoot the three if you leave him open.
Yeah.
They got to find that guy. Because if they don't find that guy, they cannot match up with either Boston or Cleveland. That is their problem. They got to get a wing around that size who the Celtics
but,
or
you have OG
has to
and
work.
McHale.
You need more. You don't have enough.
Yeah.
You don't have enough. Honestly, that game should have been 35, 40 points. Boston took their foot off the gas.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay, Cleveland, here's the other thing. Cleveland doesn't take their foot off the gas.
That's why they won by 36.
Exactly. Boston could have done the same thing like that's over. And then it got to 4 and went, oh, it's not? Oh, okay. And they put it back up to 21 again in like 5 minutes. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
The sad part that I see with the Knicks is you guys run a pick and roll 7 times in a row, and then they start giving up. Mm-hmm. They start sagging. And it's like, God damn, y'all.
I don't understand why they're not trying to trap it.
And the fact that Tibbs is this defensive mind...
I mean,
is he holding his cards, and then in the playoffs we're going to come at y'all? And
well, this is the only adjustment he can make.
Right.
So to me, I don't think. See, here's the problem, and this is where this is why I worry about the Celtics. I would love to believe that Mazzulla knows this is the one card he hasn't played yet, so he should be looking for it in the playoffs. But I don't know that. I don't know that Mazzulla knows that.
But do you think?
I want to believe he knows that. Does he have a choice? If they don't get what I'm talking about on March 1st, or they don't add a guy like that, what other choice do they have?
No, but I'm saying...
Because that's the only way to defend it.
Do you really think he would be not doing that right now, getting beat down by 30 points every time he sees them?
If he doesn't think they can catch him, it's going to be a 2-3 matchup anyway. I wouldn't show him anything that I wouldn't. And by the way, I'm not saying he's wrong, because as they're currently constructed, that roster doesn't match up with Boston.
Right, at all.
It doesn't. Not enough. There's not enough on the wing, and there's not enough down low. There's not enough. And their best player is a 6'1" point guard who's a liability on defense because of said pick and roll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what do? You don't.
Your center, who's he's a great player, but against these teams on defense, he's a liability.
Steve, it's funny. I wanted your thoughts on this because I'm glad that you were able to do this tonight, because Stephen A. Smith said something today that I was like, I wonder what Tommy thinks about that. So the question was posed, are the Knicks better off at this point this year than they were last year? And Stephen A. Smith said no. And everybody's like, what do you mean? They're more talented. But this team doesn't have what that one did have, grit. That team was a bunch of dogs.
Yeah, no.
And I think he's partially right on that. That team was a defense. That team would get in your face. They had the way that roster. It wasn't as talented. He's right, but defensively speaking, they were a better defensive team last year. They were.
Of course.
They were.
No, they were a better team.
I'm wondering. But here's my question: was the trade-off worth it? If you get to the second round again and go home and you're healthy, the answer's got to be no.
No.
Because you're not any better off now than you were last year. If they were healthy, they'd have been in the conference finals. If they were healthy last year, that team is in the conference finals.
Well, because Cleveland wasn't as good.
I would love to see that Knicks team healthy against this Cleveland team. I really would. That'd be a hell of a series. Because that Knicks team last year, they didn't have a guy like Towns, but they were dogs, man. They had 8. They were dogs. They just got banged up. They had so many injuries. That wasn't Tibbs' fault. I don't know that they would have beat them, but I again, remember I said to you before they made this trade, I wanted to see that roster healthy and see what it could do. And then if it doesn't work, remember, there's one thing. The one problem I had with this trade was I never got to see that roster healthy, what it could do. I wanted to see that. I don't know what they could have done, but I know this. They do play defense a lot better than this one does. Yeah. And Brunson was on that team. But they couldn't just easily get burned like this. It's too easy to beat them.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
But here's the thing. Hartenstein left. They couldn't keep him. They couldn't keep Hartenstein.
How much did Oklahoma City pay him?
Whatever they paid him, the Knicks were not allowed to make him that offer.
Why were they, but the Knicks weren't?
I don't know. It's part of the.
That's weird.
It's part of the deal. They were able to offer him $72 million. I can't remember what it was. The Knicks were only able to offer him a certain amount.
Was it close?
No, it was like $20 million difference.
I don't understand how the team that it's hit their player, they can't offer or match that offer.
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense.
We talked about it last year. Because you were saying
they couldn't or they wouldn't.
No, they were not allowed to. They're because of the way I can Google it. We talked about it. You said he wasn't worth it. In terms of the team construction, he was.
He was.
But once they let him go...
I'm not knocking Towns here. Towns has had an all-star year. He's been great. This isn't his fault. They don't have enough around him to deal with these two teams.
But so here's the thing.
So it's like...
Here's the thing. With that team, okay, it was the same ceiling. It looked different because they were tougher and they had more chemistry.
But in the playoffs, you've got to be able to play defense.
I understand.
And look at Houston right now. Houston is no more talented than that team was last year. They weren't, but look at them because they are dogs. They got 9. They're dogs.
Right.
They just get in your face for 48 minutes, and it's relentless. And they got a good coach who can scam you. If the game is close, he can get you across the finish line. See, I'm not saying...
I think this is about more than this year, though.
It's too early to tell.
This is the first year.
Yeah.
Okay, so they can do more in this offseason. This was like, okay, how far can we really go with Julius Randle as our number 2?
Yeah.
I think that was the whole idea. Was like, look.
Okay, but
because
do you really know, though? Because we never saw that team healthy.
We don't know. We did for 10 games.
10 games. That's not enough of a sample size.
It was amazing, but my thing is...
But they look good.
Yeah, but then Hartenstein was gone. Yeah. They needed a center. Julius Randle, look at him in Minnesota right now. He was... They needed to move on from him. This was the way to do it, but...
They had to give up what's his name, too. We didn't like that part of the deal.
Yeah, of course not.
We didn't like that part
because
of the deal.
Because he was the toughness.
Yeah.
And he was a shooter.
Yeah,
and he was big nuts. You know, like...
What was his name?
DiVincenzo.
No, what was his first name?
Big Ragu? Dante?
His name was Dante.
Dante DiVincenzo.
So it was Dante Big Nuts DiVincenzo.
Yeah, Big Ragu.
Big Nuts. I like Big Nuts better.
Big Nuts.
Dante Big Nuts.
But no,
Vinny Big Nuts would have been better.
So I believe they had to... I think it was the right move. But the way Cleveland got so much better, I mean, that's what changed it all. Them losing Hartenstein, another big thing.
That
because
hurts.
Mitchell Robinson's been hurt all year.
You know what I love about I always loved about his game is that he was a good passer out of the post.
He's great.
And Porzingis is like that. Obviously, Jokic is like that. If you have a big man that can pass.
Karl Anthony Towns is like that.
He is, but not to the same extent. And I don't think he's as good. I think Hartenstein's a better defender than Karl Anthony Towns is.
Of course he is. Karl Anthony Towns, we just said.
But this is my question.
That's a fucking
basically
liability.
what you did, and again, it's 1 year, but you've traded offense for defense. That's what you've done. That's really what you've done.
Yeah.
So to me, understanding that defense wins championships and offense sells tickets, I wouldn't have made that trade if it involved DiVincenzo. That's why I said, while I like Towns as a player, I said I would have loved to have seen what that team healthy looked like before I make that trade. 'Cause I don't know what that team's ceiling was. We can sit here and speculate all season long, but they were healthy for just 10 games. We don't know, and we'll never find out.
No, it was a premature trade because they saw the opportunity and they said, holy shit, we have a chance to get a scoring big man, which is what they needed. However, they gave up critical pieces.
It was a trade-off.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, well, you solved one problem, but you created another.
Sure.
So,
but next year in the offseason, if they're able to do some roster flipping.
well, again, I'm not going to judge it on
what
1
happens.
year. I'm just saying that I never saw that Knick roster last year healthy. I don't know what it was. That roster scared me a lot more than this one does. And that's with your guy. I was a lot more worried about that team because they could lock you down and turn it into a street fight. This one can't. It can't. It just can't, and that doesn't scare me at all. If they want to get into a shooting contest with the Boston Celtics, go right ahead. You're losing 5. I ain't worried about it. Okay, but that team last year could go out and get you and turn it into a street fight, and that's what I didn't want. And that's why I feared them more than I fear this one. And I didn't.
They couldn't do that with Boston last year.
We don't know. They weren't healthy.
We saw them play Boston.
One time. One.
You got
One is
slapped
not.
around.
One time.
You guys didn't even have Porzingis.
One game. They were only together for 10.
Yeah.
10. That's not enough of a sample size.
Well, then they lost Hartenstein. They couldn't keep him.
They don't have a franchise tag in the NBA, do they?
No.
Wish they did.
No.
Because I would have tagged him.
Let me Google it.
I mean, I don't know. I just, again, you solved one problem but created another. And yeah, we'll see what they do in the offseason. But this season, unless somebody gets hurt, if Boston and Cleveland are healthy come the postseason, the Knicks aren't beating either one of them. They're not.
Yeah, of course.
So to me, it's like, all right, what do you do on March 1st? You got to get some people on the wing that can defend besides Anunoby. He can't guard both of those guys. You got to get another guy.
The Knicks could only offer Hartenstein a maximum of $72.5 million over 4 years because of the restrictions on the salary cap.
And how much? What did Oklahoma sign him for? Was it a
3 years, $87 million.
So it's $13 million more.
But one less year, so the AAV went up by a lot.
Could they have restructured that deal after the first year? They being the Knicks, if they said, "Hey, look, we can sign you to this now, but in a year we can also do this."
I don't know.
Because I mean, the NFL they restructure deals all the time. We're in the NBA.
No, it's so different though.
It is, but it doesn't mean it can't be done.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering. I don't know. I'm just saying I never got to see that roster healthy take it out for spin and see really what it was.
So
that's all I'm saying.
It had to do with the fact that the Knicks signed. So Hartenstein was not homegrown with the Knicks.
No.
They signed him to a 2-year deal. And that meant from the moment they got him, they would be limited in their ability to re-sign him because he would only have early bird rights as a 2024 free agent instead of full bird rights. This stuff is so stupid.
The Larry Bird rule. That damn legend again. Sticking it to the Knicks. Sticking it to them.
So, yeah, I mean, he went from... So the Knicks was... 72 divided by 4, 18 mil a year.
18 mil.
87 divided by 3 to 29. So he's making 12 more million a year. And then he can get another contract after 3 years, which he will.
Yeah, he will. If he stays healthy, yeah.
Yeah.
So, so the Knicks are fucked.
Honestly,
they're fucked.
I felt this way about the Knicks last year.
Well, they weren't healthy last year. They were fucked.
I know,
last year
but
because of health.
but I still felt the same way about them. Like they couldn't beat that top tier. So I appreciated the fact that they looked and said, all right, let's try to make this move. And now it's, they got to hope something happens with the other teams. That's all you can,
Right now they're fighting to hold off Indy for the 3 spot. For what that's worth.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're better off. I don't know who they match up better with, Cleveland or Boston.
I know. Well,
like pick your poison.
A couple weeks ago I said the only hope is if the Cavs beat Boston and then the Cavs beat us by 37. I said the Knicks only hope to go to the finals if the Cavs knock out Boston. And then The Cavs just torched us.
Get bent over the Knicks.
So.
Yeah, man, that's going to do it for segment 1. Knicks are toast, barring injuries to those teams.
Still better than last year.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what they do on March 1st.
March 1st. Also,
all right, let's hold
also,
off.
Mitchell Robinson's coming back.
Let's put a pin in that till March 2nd. See what they do.
Because this is the most wins they've had at this point in the season since the 90s. So as fucked as they are, it's kind of like they were in the 90s. Couldn't be Jordan.
So it's like getting fucked with the lights off versus getting fucked with the lights on?
No, it's like enjoying the fuck.
Nobody enjoys this kind of a fuck. You lose either way.
You're telling me people don't enjoy getting fucked?
That's not what I meant. I'm talking about a sport in sports, not in the bedroom. Hey, man, when I come back,
the one that talked about lights off versus lights on. You were.
Well, I'm saying they're fucked either way. They're fucked either way.
Right. It's like the 90s, and considering what the 2000s and 2010s were, I'll take.
This is getting bent over with no lube. Just lights on or lights off.
The last
Wait,
20,
is there lube or no lube?
The last 20 years was no lube.
No lube. This has lube?
Yes. Of course.
There's lube, man. Come on.
Dude, we have. I mean, we're the third seed.
That's progress.
We're the fucking third seed. I'm supposed to be mad? I mean, the Knicks have been irrelevant for 23 years.
They're still irrelevant.
No, they're not. I can watch them on a nightly basis and be entertained. They have players that.
You have done more complaining than being entertained, which I get. I get why.
I'm not.
Let me roll back to the Rolodex of texts. Oh, Nick's blowing it again. Nick's about to get bent over again.
Oh,
Knicks are pulling a real doozy tonight. Nick's better wake up.
That's literally how you talk about the Celtics.
Knicks.
That's literally how you talk about the Celtics. I don't the championship.
I don't deny that. I hold them to a standard where
sure, but you're not going to say you're getting fucked and you hate it.
If the Celtics lose this now, I think they're going to because they fell asleep at the wheel and gave away those 6 home games that they shouldn't have lost to inferior opponents. I have every right to bitch about that.
I have a right to bitch about the Knicks. It doesn't mean I hate them in their.
I'm saying that I don't. I'm just saying that I would have loved to have seen that roster the way they had it healthy and see what it.
No, that's not what you're saying. You're saying that. I can't enjoy the Knicks as a third seed.
I say you couldn't enjoy them. I'm saying they're irrelevant.
They're not irrelevant.
They suck. They're irrelevant. They're useless. Third, fifth. Does third or sixth matter? No, what? They're going home in the second round.
37 wins.
They're going home in the second round. Oh, boy. 37.
They don't suck.
Did they put a banner up for 37 wins?
I didn't say they were a championship team.
It's 52.
I didn't say they were a championship team.
At 52, you get a banner.
I didn't say they were a championship team.
52.
They're entertaining. I enjoy watching.
So you're satisfied with their, solidness or above average?
What am I supposed to do? Cry about it?
Yes.
I'm going to bitch about it?
Yes.
I'll be like you. My team's winning championships, and I'm like, it's the dumbest fucking team ever. I hate this shit. This is bullshit. I fucking hate them.
This team has pissed away more championships than it's won.
Oh, I feel so bad for you.
You should.
At least they won one.
You should. They should have won 3.
Get over it. You won.
No, I won't. You can't leave them on the table.
I'm not going to cry when my team wins a championship.
You can't leave them on the table.
Fucking cry.
You can't leave them on the table.
My team won a championship. I hate my life.
You can't leave it on the table.
Look, I know.
It's like leaving a loafie on the table.
Knicks.
Would you leave a loafie on the table?
Well, you have no choice. A loafie shoots out. It's there.
But it doesn't. What are you going to do? It doesn't land on the table, though.
Well, if you have your ass pointed at the table.
Ooh. What would be going on? Never mind. I don't want to get into that.
Maybe you're just looking that way. No,
and the table's right there.
I disagree that the Knicks are relevant. I know what you're saying, but look at it through this lens. From 2000 to 2022, like the Knicks never played a national game. Basically, the Knicks. What? Why are you making that face?
They never put. They were never on national TV once.
Look, I'm exaggerating. Oh, okay, there was about 6-year span in the 2000s where they were not on national.
But they
TV.
were useless.
Yes,
we're talking Wizards.
And yeah,
okay.
Dude, if you look at the starting 5 when they traded for Carmelo Anthony, you will not know a single player on that roster, except Carmelo. Okay. And then, people talk about Carmelo like he's Patrick Ewing. It's a joke.
Even close. Don't ever put him in the same sense. Don't you dare.
But see, there are diehard Knicks fans that stayed around and watched those games, and he was the only thing they had to watch. My point is,
Patrick Ewing made people around him better.
My point is,
Towns never did that.
My point is, Jalen Brunson is a great Knick, and I know he hasn't won anything yet.
I'm not knocking him.
But him leaving money on the table to try to make this team better, and the Josh Hart, who goes out there and works his ass off every night, all these guys play minute after minute. And yes, they're coming up short against these good teams. I still enjoy watching them.
I would be frustrated as hell.
Of course. And that's what my text messages
I wouldn't be enjoying it at all. I'd be like, okay, if you got bent over by them twice before Sunday happened, there better be a move in the pipeline.
What kind of move? What do you want them to do?
You say March 1st they can make a move. I don't know.
Yeah, they're going to get some fucking G League guy. It's not going to do anything.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
Let me tell you why it's not true, okay? And I can think of a bunch of no-name guys that went to a team that had great players on it, and the great players made them better.
They're going to the Bulls when they got Brian Williams
$10,000. The great players, hey, Kendrick Perkins, who is the scab of all scabs, averaged 10 and 9. Because he was around great players. What I'm saying to you is Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns can elevate players. And so can Anunoby. If they get a player that can fit with those guys, that complements them, that would help them.
Maybe it's Mitchell Robinson.
And by the way, maybe it is. But
maybe you play Towns at the 4 and Mitch at the 5, and maybe that changes things.
That would help. If he can go out and guard Porzingis, maybe, yeah. But you also got to get another wing. You've got to find another wing.
That's going to be tough, man.
Well, this is what the GM's job is. If it's March, if that's the date, if you're right, I'm saying, then that's what he's got to be doing. Because here's the thing, and this is, and look no further than Philadelphia for what's going on right now. You don't know the future of these guys health-wise.
What, do you want them to get Paul George?
No. I'm not saying get Paul George. Look, he made a move, he was wrong, but he did something. He didn't stand pat. Because Stan Philly wasn't going anywhere anyway with that group.
The Knicks did the same fucking thing.
No, they didn't. They traded for Karl-Anthony Towns.
They made a move. They didn't stand pat.
You got to make another move. It's not enough. You got to get some. Look,
but you're saying Philly made a move.
They did something. It wasn't the right move, but it was something.
The Knicks did too.
The kid was an all-star on paper. The kid has a Hall of Fame career on paper.
The Knicks got Karl-Anthony Towns. Are you kidding me? They got Julius Randle and a three-point shooter.
Philly already had 2 all-stars. They went and got a third.
The Knicks also went and got Mikal Bridges.
The Knicks had 1 all-star. They went and got another one. Now they have 2.
Then they went and got Mikal Bridges.
You've got to get... Mikal Bridges is not an all-star.
He was never an all-star?
No. He's not an all-star. He was never an all-star. He was a solid...
Pretty good.
You got to go get a guy. And if he's not an all-star, fine. You got to get a guy.
So you're telling me what the Knicks did was worse than what the...
I'm saying the Knicks traded
Philly's
offense.
In nowhere.
The Knicks traded offense for defense. They're in the same spot they were last year.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lateral move. It's not a vertical move. And I'm not saying they shouldn't have got Towns, but you can't stop there.
They're not in the worst spot.
If March 1st, they're in the same spot.
Exactly.
They can't beat either of the top 2 teams.
Because of how those teams are constructed.
You have to go out.
They got outdueled personnel-wise.
You have to go out on March 1st and find
some
pieces.
G League guy to
No, it doesn't have to be a G League guy. They have by the way, they have this thing. It's called the veteran level exception. You can get a veteran that can do those things that's out there.
I hope you're right.
You can go get a Jeff Green or somebody like that who can shoot and he's 6'8". If the Jeff's he won a championship in Denver as a 6th man, 7th man. He would do it.
He was the 9th man.
They played 10, and he played well. He played meaningful minutes in that run. He wasn't a scab.
Maybe look at
he wasn't Brian Scabarini. I'm not saying get a guy who can ride the motorcycle.
No. Marcus Morris and everything will be all right.
Actually, coming off the bench for them, that would help them. He'd be a good ad off the bench. He's 6'8", 6'9". He's tough. He can make that shot. That wouldn't be a bad move at the March 1. I wouldn't mind that move at all. That would help you. If Markieff or Marcus Morris is out there, and they're both, by the way, 6'9", and they have an outside shot, and they're tough, coming off your bench, for the mid-level exception, why not? That would help you.
Yeah, okay.
It's better than some G League scab.
No, it's not. It's the same fucking
No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
No, it is not. Don't compare a G League scab to the Morris brothers. No, they're both good players. They're way better than some G League scab. I'm just saying. Anyway.
Maybe they get Bronny James.
I didn't say throw in the towel. I didn't say hit the iceberg. I didn't say...
I'm just the way I'm looking at it is I'm not sure they can really do anything to change the status right now.
I'm saying
Mitchell
March
Robinson
1st
is the biggest thing.
That would help, but I'm saying if maybe one of the Morris brothers is available on March 1st. That would help you. You said depth is your problem. You don't have a bench. Well, having one of those guys come off your bench with this team would be a good thing. That would help you. because they can score. You can't leave them open. They rebound. They play defense. That would help you. If you got one of those two on March 1st, I'd be like, okay, now they've got something.
Yeah.
That would help them. I'm not saying it puts them over the top, but it would help them.
You don't like Precious Achua?
You haven't brought him up in 40 minutes. My question is, do you like Precious Achua?
No. So Precious Achua is a bench player that's starting because Mitchell Robinson isn't there. So he'll be on the bench once Mitch comes back, I think, if they choose to play.
What is he? What is he, a 5 or a 4?
He's really a 4, Precious.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, Morris is like a 3-4. Those two. They're kind of nice because
4s though, right?
But they can go. The thing about them is they can guard both positions. So when they're screening and switching, you can have. I said to you, the Celtics can switch with 5 guys. You really can only switch with 3. Well, if you have one of them, you can switch with 4 now.
Yeah.
That would help on the defensive end, and then offensively, if you leave them open, they can burn you.
Yeah.
So that one of those two would be a good move, and you could get them for the middle if they're available.
Precious Achua.
Jeff Green, who you laugh, but he's just like them. He's a 6'8", who if you leave him open, he can get you 20 points right in one spot. And defensively, you can switch screen to him. He's a flexible defender.
Yeah.
And he's someone like that. And again, mid-level exception.
I'm like, if they could have done something like that, they would have already done it.
No, I don't think they would have, because some guys get dumped at the March 1 thing.
Okay.
So they might, or they get bought out and then they can go sign with a team.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if I'm the GM of the Knicks, I'm looking for something like that on March 1st. If that's when they can do it, that's when you do it. That gives you a month to get the guy in there, 10, 15 games to get him in, and you can have him come off the bench in the playoffs, which would help you. It would. If one of those guys is available or somebody like that. That's all I'm saying. Anyway.
Some Knicks fans are calling for Tibbs.
Tibbs, this is
for his head.
This is a personnel problem. It's not a coaching problem. I don't think Tibbs is the greatest coach in the world, but he's capable, and they don't have the horses. What's he supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like, what's he supposed to do from the next? He doesn't have the horses.
The good news is we play Philly next.
Well, Philly's kind of a get-well game.
Yeah. Philly just lost by 32 to
if we're being honest, your core is a lot younger than Philly's core.
Oh, God. Dude,
I mean,
tonight the Sixers got blown out at home by the Bulls, 142 to 110.
They're done. Just shut it down. Just shut it down.
Are they going to get the first pick?
If I'm them, I'm shutting Embiid down and getting the surgery on his damn knee.
They should have shut him down at the beginning of the season.
Again, he had to go out and get his gold medal. He didn't take last summer off and address it then. He's paying for it now.
He was terrible in the Olympics.
I know. He shouldn't even have played, though, because he wasn't healthy.
Yeah, he was terrible.
He's terrible. Useless. Tits on a bull. Anyway, segment 2 coming right up. We will talk baseball. It is back. Hey, 2 new guys went yard. Segment 2 coming right up.